I was just taking a photo for a thumbnail at the very end of the video, but I'll pop this at the front. And I just realized it's really nice sitting out here, and I should have filmed the whole thing out here, but I don't know, I thought the wind. But I'll show you a little trick Maggie can do. High five. Good girl. What a clever little butt. High five. Good girl. Isn't she smart? She'll be running around stock very soon. I've got a big update for you guys. Welcome back, guys. I'm just out in the paddock about to pick up some pig melon. It's a weed that's in our paddock that's starting to spread a little bit. It's not too bad, but I want to get to it before it does spread. And I thought I'd make a YouTube video because it's been a bloody long time. It's really windy today. You probably saw the footage of our flag, and it's just going 100 miles an hour. It's dropped off in the back here. I thought I'd film, maybe sit on that log or something, but it's just very windy. And then I noticed that some of the chairs that we had set up have blown down, so I might sit on one of these, make sure there's no spiders under it. Welcome back, guys. Huge milestone to share with you guys, something mega big, probably for me on the same scale as obviously having children, falling pregnant and being engaged is a little bigger news, but this is very close to that for me, and that is finally we've hit the milestone of finally owning stock. And when I say stock, I don't mean like the stock market, I mean livestock. It has been a long life dream of mine, and I have been sharing a little bit over on Instagram, so if you head on over there, it's BecWharram, that's my username. I'll link it on the screen and underneath in the description. You can go over there and check out my Instagram. I've got a little bit of brain fog at the moment. I'm very tired and I'm detoxing from sugar for health reasons, so you have to bear with me a little today because I am so tired. So for those of you that are new to following me, I will go back a little bit, and that goes back to when I was a kid. Grew up near the beach. I went surfing and that every day, loved it. And it wasn't until I was in my late teens that I realized I really wanted the country lifestyle. I was studying interior design at the time and trekking to the city every day, and absolutely hated that whole catching a train and going to the city, and craved country life, but still didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I then started a uni degree because all my friends were studying. They were doing an education, Bachelor of Education. So I decided, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, may as well do what my friends are doing. So I did that. And into my first 6 months of studying to be a teacher, a primary school teacher or elementary school teacher if you're in Canada or the US, I realized pretty quick that I wanted to go work on a station up north. And if you're not from Australia, a station is like a massive ranch, and that was my biggest dream. But mum and dad, you know, did the what they thought was the right thing anyway, and told me to pursue teaching, get that degree, and at least I've got it as a backup. So over 6 years I completed my 4-year degree course because I kept deferring, and in that time I was working on family friends farms in my spare time to get experience. I was working in shearing sheds to get experience, and eventually working on farms myself, like not through an employer. Maggie! I just have to keep calling Maggie every now and then to make sure she's with me still. So yeah, I did that all through uni, and then I did a little bit of traveling throughout Australia, and then got myself a job working in a tiny little remote school in Condingup, which is 110 k's east of Esperance in Western Australia. Beautiful little town, loved the job, absolutely beautiful school, and the kids were gorgeous. But after a year and a half of teaching, I was like, this is not for me. I need to be outdoors. I want to pursue that dream. I didn't have obviously kids or a partner at the time, so I quit to go work on a farm. And in that sort of era I met my partner Connor, and I started working on the same station as him on 70,000 hectares seeding. Sadly throughout that time my mum passed away, and that was cut short because we decided to move closer to where my dad was living at the time, near the beach. But we moved 2 hours inland instead of 13 hours away from him, or I can't remember what the time difference is, but roughly that. So because we still wanted the country lifestyle, so we rented 10 acres, and Connor worked as a precision farming specialist and started his whole learning of that, because before that he was a farmhand. And I continued working on farms in the area we're in now. Then we eventually, we had our kids and we bought our own property. We bought 40 acres to start ourselves off into farming. I also worked at livestock centre and a few other farming jobs. And then we decided to move to Canada. So we moved to Canada and sold our farm here, our only 40 acres. And we moved to Canada and worked on Canada's largest cattle ranch, and then moved, that was in BC in Canada, and then we moved to Alberta. I'm just rushing this along. There's so many videos about this on my channel. And our whole plan there was to buy a ranch, but that didn't happen because Connor just really didn't like working there in his field in Canada. He prefers the agricultural side in Australia, the whole ag community here. He just prefers it here. We moved back here recently to my dad's farm, and we're living in an 1856 cottage. And both my kids just started school. Riley's just gone off to school, so I am officially not, or I'm a stay-at-home mum, but I'm not actually doing my mum duties, if you'd say. That sounds terrible. I still do the home duties, but my mum duties have dropped now. And this was right at the point when, because obviously they're at school, this was right at the point when I had always planned that I would be either running my own farm or working on a farm. And finally we've done it. And I'm very excited to announce that we have just purchased 80 head of ewes and 2 rams. And yes, it's not a huge amount of sheep, but it is a start. We're getting there. We just purchased some sheep yards, which I will put a little bit of a snippet in here now. They've all been delivered, but yeah, I'll put that footage in here now. How exciting, the yards are all delivered. They're just driving off now, up there. So an exciting milestone for us here. For those of you that are new, we just moved back to Australia from Canada. Originally in Australia we're sort of first generation farmers. We've both worked in farming, but our families don't own farms, big farms anyway. My dad's got a farm here and it's absolutely beautiful, but he doesn't run any stock on it. So we have always dreamt of doing this. I'm 36 now, and been wanting to do this since I was 19, and finally the day's come. We've moved back to Australia and our sheep yards have finally arrived. It's like an absolute dream come true. So we're setting them up. The delivery guy, well, it's not his fault, the company sent us the wrong size. We were going a little taller with our sheep yard panels, but we're just putting them out, testing them out for a bit. They're not obviously together, to see if we want to stick with them and they can give us a bit of a refund on what we paid for, or making them send the ones that we originally wanted. We're just working it out right now, figuring it out. But we do have a whole design. We designed it all. Race is going along here. We got the nice she oak trees there for shade. And we're starting off with about 100 head of Aussie whites, which we're in the process of buying. So as you guys saw, we purchased our yards. It's very exciting for us. We have not put them up yet. I filmed that footage about 2 weeks ago, but it has been 49 degrees Celsius, between 45 to 50 degrees Celsius throughout the last 2 weeks. It has been absolute hell. Our veggie garden has completely been destroyed from the heat, so and all the plants. Limbs are falling all over the property. I was just doing a drive around to check all the, like, we've got limbs falling because it's so hot, and the trees are drying out, and then they're all falling all over the place, so we need to clean them up. I did do some yesterday. I'm getting off topic because I'm very excited to share all this news with you guys. So I'm not going to share with you the sheep we got in this video, but it will be in the next one because they're arriving very soon at the beginning of March. We purchased Australian white crossed white Dorpers, ewes, and then 2 very good rams, Aussie white rams, and they're just first cross. So we have had sheep before in the past. We had wilter poles, and we only started off with about 20 head of sheep. This is when we had our 40 acres, and they all gave us twins, triplets, and a few singles, and they were fantastic. They just kept their weight on. And when we were looking at purchasing sheep this time around, we knew we didn't want Dorpers or Damaras, purely because we'd had bad experience with them with fences. They, to us, are very much like a goat. If they can find a way out, they will. They were jumping at us in the yards. They were terrible. So we really liked the idea of getting, and I'm not saying Dorpers are bad. If you got Dorpers, sometimes they're great and stuff, but with our experience, we just didn't want to go down that route. We wanted something that was self-shedding. We did look at the wilter poles, but they're quite hard to get a high number up front. And we wanted at least 80 ewes to begin with. So we looked into the Aussie whites, and we really like the sound of those. They stack on the weight pretty quick. They're really good temperament, pretty good on yards. They're self-shedding. That's what was a big ticket item for us. We want something that's self-shedding, meaning they don't have wool, so we don't have to shear them. We don't have to worry too much about being fly blown or lice or things like that. And that's a huge profit in our hand because we're not having to pay a shearer. What are you doing, Mags? Maggie's chewing a bone behind me. So we looked into buying Aussie whites, but because they've only been around for roughly 12 years, they're a breed from over east in New South Wales, from Tattykeel stud. They are hard to come by purebred ewes for the price range that we were looking for. So we did come across a really nice guy. He's a vet in WA, and he had Aussie white cross white Dorpers available. So we've purchased those, their first cross, with 2 very good registered Tattykeel rams, Aussie white rams. And the plan with that is the first year to sell all the lambs off, recoup some money that way, and then the second year we will keep the ewe lambs. What is it? And then the second year we will keep the ewe lambs, and that will be our F2 lambs, meaning that they will be now 75% Aussie whites and 25% white Dorpers, roughly. That is the plan, and continuing on that way until we have probably F3s, F4s. The reason for that is because they're going to be better quality meat in our eyes from what we've heard. Better temperament than the Dorpers, and I'm not shitting on Dorpers. Dorpers can be amazing, and they're great meat sheep. They stack on the weight really quick and can be really good sheep, but for us, we really want to hone in on that Aussie white line. So our plans for our sheep are to sell them over the hooks, which is like at the meatworks, the abattoirs. The lambs, this is once they reach about 5 to 6 months, and I will share all that with you, not obviously taking them to the abattoir, but share the whole process with you guys. We also do eventually want to sell them as meat packs, so locally people can purchase either a half a lamb or a full lamb, and we'll get it all butchered for you guys and deliver it to your house. So that may be happening in the future. There are a lot of legalities behind that. You need to get certain licenses, so that's a bit more of a long-term plan, but yeah, that's where we're headed. That's really exciting for us. They arrive at the start of March, as I said, and there will be a lot more YouTube videos coming now, because I sort of wanted to have a bit of a break, because I don't like just filming absolute crap, like I went to the shops, or I took the kids to school, or I fixed a fence, or I dragged some limbs of wood, a tree limb, you know, into the burn off pile. Like, I don't know, maybe some people do want to see that stuff, and let me know if you do, if you like that boring day-to-day stuff. But I'm steering away from putting my kids on YouTube. I don't really want them on here anymore unless they're in the background or they choose to be. But there'll be no more videos of it's their birthday or anything. I find they're getting to an age now where they can have their own choice. They're 8 and 5 years old, and yeah, we're just keeping this a farming channel. Because it's been so hot, all our vegetables have died. I did shoot some footage, which I will insert. We went and purchased some chili, some corn, zucchini, tomatoes, a bunch of vegetables that grow in summer here, and planted them all in. And Connor really enjoyed planting his chilies and corn, and they did grow quite tall, the corn. But that heat has absolutely fried everything. It is shit. it's really shit. So I've gone and bought some more compost, mulch and soil, garden soil, and we're planning on turning all the soil around, you know, mixing it all together, aerating it all, getting the soil real good back in and nutrient again, and replanting stuff, you know, towards the middle of autumn, which is coming up soon. We're at the end of our summer now. We've got 3 more weeks roughly. We did have some sad news since the last video. As you guys knew, we had the one potty lamb named Boomerang, and we were bottle feeding him. He's off the bottle now and he's going really well. And then we bought 2 little mates for him because he was a bit lonely. When I say bought, someone gave them to us in our local town. And one was always just really sick. We drenched him and gave him B12 shots and did all the right things, and he just was always a really sick little lamb. Never really had a lot of strength in him. His name was Dark Horse. I have no idea why. That's what Riley, our son, named him. He wasn't even, no, was it Black Horse? Dark Horse or Black Horse? I can't remember, but he was a white merino cross lamb, so I don't know why he called him that. And sadly he passed away. He yeah, wasn't good. So sadly we lost him. We tried everything we could, but just sometimes they're weak and they don't survive. So we lost him, and we've just got the 2. Barry is the other one. Connor named him Barry. And then we got Boomerang. So they're our little potty lambs for life. We will not sell them. The kids absolutely love them, but it's a bit of a pain because they are wool sheep. We've just purchased these sheep that are coming soon, and they don't need to be shorn, so we're gonna have to get someone out to shear just these 2 sheep, which is a bit of a pain, but it's just what we're gonna have to do. I will share some footage here of us castrating and doing their tails. If you don't like that stuff, you don't have to watch. I don't need bad comments in my videos. You know, it's just a part of farming, and you know, if you're unsure about all that, definitely ask questions, but yeah, we know what we're doing. If we don't ring their tails, which means docking their tails with a ring, you put a ring on the end, and I think I explained that in the footage I'm about to upload, but if you don't, their tails are there, and the poo accumulates there when they shit, and they end up getting fly blown. So you guys can Google what fly blown is. It's disgusting. They get eaten alive by maggots. Like literally maggots crawling all over that area and eating the flesh. So if you want to see us doing that, that's in the footage here. It's not bad. They get over it pretty quick, and yeah, I'll insert that here. Okay, so we're out here. We're going to be tailing and castrating our rams today. Normally during ear marking time, you also vaccinate, ear tag, ear mark if you're going to ear mark, and drench. I can't remember what I've said. Anyway, so we're just doing the nutting and tailing today, and yeah, let's get on with it.
Oh no, I can see Santa.
Sorry,
I can see Santa.
how am I going to know if I got them? We're all done, and like I mentioned before, the reason why we do this, now we're going to move them. They get a little reward for that, and a way to distract them from possible pain that they're in is to put them over into a big paddock now. So it's about a quarter of an acre. When I say big paddock, it's one near our house that we used to put the horses in. So they get an upgrade from the little potty lamb yard over there. Our little boy Boomerang, the one that we're feeding milk, is still getting 3 bottles a day. He was originally getting 4. He's getting 3 400ml bottles a day, and we're going to start slowly weaning him off over the weeks. By January he'll be fully off it. He's already eating hay. Yeah, just a little update there for you guys. So here is the little yard we had for them, and then directly just here is a horse paddock that we used to have our horses in back before we moved to Canada. Probably in 2015 we had horses in here. Tank and Cash, their names were. And we're going to pop these 3 in here just for a couple of weeks, keep them close to the yards. The wind came through and I didn't get to finish what I was saying. Now you're coming through with hay. Hey. Hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah, we're popping them in here and not into the big giant paddocks because we want to keep an eye on them. They're still young. We get a lot of foxes around our house, so that way they're still close by and I'm still bottle feeding that little dude. So it's easy for me to come out here. House is just behind the camera here. Connor's popping a tiny bit of hay out there, just 1 flake, or a biscuit we call it in Australia. Biscuit of hay, if you're a horsey person. And we're going to literally just pick them up and carry them through because we got no other way to push them through. It's very hard with just 3, and I don't want Maggie, our dog, stirring them up, especially when they've just been in a little bit of pain getting that done. I'm sorry, little dude. Promise you I do it for your own good though. Fly blowing doesn't look good on a little lamb. I've seen it. Alright, so they've got a massive paddock in here. Lots of shade and shelter from storms and loads of trees. And oh, I nearly fell on that big rock. We got trough in here. Automatically fills up. Connor's throwing some hay out. He's even contemplating putting straw out here, which I said was maybe babying them a little bit. But they are little lammies. Yeah, we threw the hay out here. Daddy did. So I'm just going to go and walk around the boundary, make sure there's no fences that need mending so they don't escape. Pretty sure it'll be fine, but just in case. Alright, they found the hay. I wet one of their mouths down with water so they all know where the water is. And they're going to have a good night in here, I reckon. I'll come out later and feed Boomerang. Make sure that he's alright. Check on them, but I'm sure that they're going to love it in here way more than the little yard that they were in. Maggie is itching to do some sheep work, aren't you, Missy? Hey, not these ones. They're too young. Absolutely love this time of night. Look at that. The long shadows over the paddock as the sun's starting to set. It is dry out here, but it's still absolutely beautiful. Stunning. We've got the little Santa there, sitting on the old cedar. So you may have noticed that this isn't just regular ring lock. We've got goat wire all the way around because we had people here that used to have goats. So Dad fenced it with the goat mesh and just keeps them in, especially when there's a road right here. Alright, I've gotten to here and there's quite a bit of a gap here that I'm a bit worried about. I'm sure they won't try and get through there, but I might throw a few rocks across here just to block it a bit. I mean, I don't see why on earth they would want to go through that gap, but it doesn't look that big on camera, but it is.
What's that?
Just picking up a few rocks.
Windmill.
Oh, an old windmill. Let's chuck those under. Maybe we'll grab a few more. Thanks, love.
Yeah, bulletproof.
It'll do. I don't think they're going to find that hole anyway. They're not goats. Goats will go anything. There's a whole little rule that if water can get through it, a goat can get through it. Sheep aren't the same. We haven't ear tagged those potty lambs yet. We will once we get our ewes in. Ear tagging is where we put the identification tag in the ear. So we'll do them when our ewes come and all that. But they're just potty lambs. They're just on the property. They're not going anywhere. So they're just pets basically. Our chickens are going really well. We have got 2 new hens. If you missed it, I did upload it on Instagram. I may have put a little short video up on YouTube. I can't remember. But we got 2 more highline hens and we're getting about 5 eggs a day. It's been very hot and so it's been sort of hard for them to lay, you know, with the heat. So some of them are only laying every second day at the moment. But yeah, those girls are going really good. Our white one ended up being the Australorp, ended up being a rooster. He is driving us crazy. He's crowing at 3 a.m. all the way up until daylight. So it doesn't bother us too much, but it's bothering my dad a bit. So we may have to rehome him. We'll see. It is nice to have him because he does look flies. He does look after the girls when they're free ranging around the backyard. That's another thing. The hens have eaten a bunch of my tomato plants and everything, so we need to now fence off the veggie garden. It's such a pain, and we have a lot of jobs around the farm to do before the sheep come, because we need to fix some holes in the fencing, the boundary fences, the fences in between other paddocks. We need to make sure the troughs are all up and running. We need to order some hay in, because as you probably saw in the beginning footage, there is nothing on the ground. In a couple of months there will be, but there is literally nothing. So they'll be going through a bale or two a week at the moment, which is quite expensive when you're trying to make money off this whole farming gig. Yeah, and with starting up with farming again, as I've mentioned in the past, we're pretty much first generation farmers. Dad's run stock on this farm maybe once, 1 year. Other than that, he's let his mates have his stock here, their stock here. Dad works away on the mine, so he just loves living out here and having the land and being, you know, having his campfires and living that serene life. But he wasn't too fussed about having any stock on here. So when we said that we're moving back from Canada back to Australia, he was like, why don't you have my land and farm on it? So, oh, camera battery died, and I don't even know where I was at with that story. But yeah, so this is the first year we're running stock on Dad's property, which is really nice. And the plan in the future is also to, once we get to a higher stocking capacity, we will lease or adjust more land in the surrounding areas, hopefully a neighbouring one, because then we don't have to truck the stock too far. But yeah, that's where we're at. It's very exciting news. I'm really sorry for having a big break in between. I've just been really zonked out. I forgot, when I was saying that Dad, and that we're first generation farmers and that Dad's never, you know, farmed properly on here, well, he has, but only for a year, that meant we had to purchase everything from scratch again, because we sold all our farming stuff before we moved to Canada. So we've had to buy the ear tag gun, the ear tags, drenching guns, vaccination guns, literally everything you need for sheep again. So it's been fun, but it's been expensive and stressful trying to, you know, shop around and get the right things, including the yards. That takes a lot of time and effort. So that's why I haven't been making videos, but now I've got it all. Should be ready to go. I'm hoping to put up at least 3 a month, but we'll see. I can't promise things, guys. I just hope you enjoy these videos. Make sure to tune in, and can you make sure you share them or watch them, because views drop a lot and the algorithms change since I moved back. And yeah, I mean, I don't do it all for views, but see, I pay $50 a month for the music that I can use on this YouTube channel, and I'm making about $50 a month. So I'm just covering, like, I make about $50 a month from the ads that run on this channel. So I don't make any money from YouTube at all. It only maybe just covers me paying for the music license. So that drops my motivation a bit to share, but at the same time I enjoy sharing with you guys, because I hope it motivates other people to follow their dreams as well, like we have. So yeah, like usual, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.